Cain, who's jealous and angry at his brother Abel. God warns Cain that he's facing a beastly urge called sin, a dark, mysterious kind of evil that consumes humans. But God says that Cain can rule the beast if he chooses.
But he doesn't rule the beast. He lets this urge devour him, and he becomes a beast.
And then after this, Cain's children spread their animal-like violence, and it leads to the founding of a whole civilization known for its beastly pride, the city of Babylon. And the fourth beast is so mutant, there's nothing to compare it to. And it's violent, leaving death and destruction in its wake.
You see, the whole prophecy is on the heels of, against the backdrop of, coming out of Babylonian exile. When we come out of Babylonian exile, there will be a glorious restoration. When we come out of Babylonian exile, there will be a glorious deliverance. When we come out of Babylonian exile, Messiah will come. That was the expectation. And then it was in that season of return from Babylonian exile, rebuilding the temple, reconstituting the nation. Out of this destruction, redemption's coming, and it's right around the corner. Well, that's how it seemed. It looked right around the corner. Have you ever driven around a bend? Remember that principle of messianic prophecy? The Messiah is expected on the immediate horizon of history. Going around a turn, you don't realize that turn is 3 miles long. You think it's just 30 feet long, and you keep driving. That's how it is. But it is right around the bend. It is right around the bend. Now, here's what's important. Here's what's important to look at. Not only the historical context, which underscores and supports everything I believe as a Messianic Jew, but also the Eved. Who is the Eved? So we are told this is the servant, Eved is servant. This is the servant of the Lord coming out of Babylonian exile. The servant of the Lord comes out of Babylonian exile. This is the nation of Israel, and that's what the prophecy is about. Here's what's interesting. When you look at the references to the servant of the Lord in the book of Isaiah, beginning in chapter 40 through 51, we will see that it can refer to the nation as a whole, or to the righteous remnant within the nation, or to the one righteous one, the Messiah, the ultimate servant of the Lord, the one who fulfills the destiny of Israel. So let me just give you some examples. Isaiah 42, 18 through 20. Hear you deaf, look you blind, and see. Who is blind but my servant, and deaf like the messenger I send? Who is blind like the one committed to me, blind like the servant of the Lord? So sometimes the servant is blind and deaf and unresponsive, and then other times, Isaiah 42:1, here is my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen one in whom I delight. I will put my spirit on him, he'll bring justice to the nations. I, the Lord, have called you in righteousness. I will take hold of your hand, and I will keep you and will make you to be a covenant for the people and a light for the Gentiles, to open eyes that are blind, to free captives from prison, and to release from the dungeon those who sit in darkness. So you've got the servant of the Lord a few verses later speaking of the nation, and the nation's blind and deaf. And here you've got the servant of the Lord who's obedient and righteous and who brings sight to the blind. In other words, liberty to the captives who are in prison.